All right. What's up, my G's? I'm here with Frida Ronning. Um, could be the world's fastest privateer. Is that an accurate statement?
I mean, at least aiming to be the world's fastest privateer.
But Frida has been on the World Cup circuit for a while. We've crossed paths at random times over like the past 8 or 9 years. I've gotten bits and pieces of your story, um, and I know enough that it's really interesting. And I feel like you're a unique figure in the mountain bike space. You're managing a PhD program, racing as a privateer. Dating Dakotah. The resume is is full of big jobs. So I guess in this chat, yeah, I just kind of want to learn more about what you're up to, how the season went, and yeah, what's going on in the life of Frida.
Cool. Yeah, at the moment, just finished the season, like a week ago, a couple of weeks ago. And I got till May to finish my PhD, so working on that. It's a bit of a hectic, like go from full on racing World Cups to full on being a nerd, I guess. But yeah, that's what I'm up to at the moment.
Like, have you had a bit of time to reflect on the World Cup season at this
Yeah,
point?
yeah. So this year I did privateer year. I raced for the Union the 3 years before that, and uh, I'm like kind of older, but still haven't actually raced for that long. Like I did my first full season in 21, and then did the 3 years in Union, but lost pretty much all of 22 because of my head injury, and then the 2 years after that was kind of just like building back up to being a normal human again, basically, and trying to raise and whatnot. So it was my first like proper full season in a long time, but did that as a privateer, which was like challenging, obviously. But it was pretty cool because even like halfway through the season, like you kind of get thrown into it, right? And you figure it out as you go. And then, like, when I went home after the first big block, like after Andorra, I guess, it was just kind of like a big thing to me because even last year when I raced, I felt like relatively healthy, but there were so many things like I couldn't do still. So being able to like fully do the privateer year, like I worked on my bike myself, did everything. Like obviously had a lot of people helping, but I didn't have anybody like with me to help. Was pretty cool. So like just being able to do that and kind of my bike was really good. Like I kept it. I didn't just like kind of show up with a beat up bike. Like I kept it really nice. Everything was working smoothly, and was able to make it into two finals. So it just felt like a big like accomplishment and a big like I'm back, like I'm healthy, I can do this. I'm able to put in like what it takes. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, the end wasn't maybe as good as I would have hoped, but I still had a few more like really good rounds and was still in touch with all the pro girls. So yeah, pretty happy about it, honestly.
And I mean, what was the most difficult thing to adjust to for this season for you? Like going, I mean,
I
on
think
your own, pretty much.
I think there was kind of two big things because yeah, I went on my own, but also they changed the whole format. So I think for a lot of people, you kind of get in this groove of like how you go about your weekend, right? I know Dakotah talks a lot about it too, but they changed that. And if you look at it, like coming into it, it didn't look like that big of a change. But because the top girls and guys they're used to being protected. So they wouldn't maybe put as much into qualifying and semis as they did for Q1 and Q2. Like I felt like the pace off the gate was a lot higher. Like even when to me like last year I did have to put in a really good run in qualifying just to qualify, and then if I made it through qualifying I still would have to put like my best run in to make it through semis. But this year it felt like overall, like the level was really high for the women, and I think it was like some of the closer times ever in qualifying. So I felt like I had to be ready to put in like a really good run already by lap, I guess, 8. Like second day, you already had to go really fast. So that was a bit of an adjustment. And then just not having like people around you, like if anything went wrong, was a bit difficult. And like they don't want privateers there now, like privateers at the races, so they make it really difficult to get information and to get like even like start lists. And if anything changes on the course, like they send it to the team managers, and that's it. And you don't get a parking pass, and you're like there's nowhere for you to like go. So that was hard. Like I had to kind of show up early for every race and try and figure out like, okay, this is where I can put the car, and then like maybe ask some people if I could put some stuff in their pits depending on how close I could get the car. And that was difficult, but it worked out pretty well. Like you kind of just have to adapt to, you're not going to show up and everything's going to be ready for you. You have to figure it out and kind of be okay with, okay, if I flat, maybe I have to borrow somebody's e-bike and go get my wheel, you know. It's not going to be there and somebody fixing it for you, but
No.
yeah.
I mean, how did it even work this year with being a privateer with like the teams and the points? Like how, because that seemed super difficult. So how are you even able to race a full season like on your own?
So for the women, it kind of is a bit easier than for the guys because they still do top 50 on the UCI ranking. So coming into the season, I was Norwegian national champion and top 50 on the UCI ranking. So then I still had to have the federation register me. So I had to like reach out to Norway and be like, hey, I want to do this race. And then they would just enter me. And since I had the qualifications, that was all good. So they just entered it, and then you show up and pick up your plate like usual. But then we had a bit of a mess up, I guess, on my end, because it was a bit of a logistical mess to make it back to Norwegian national champs. And if you're national champion, you have at least this year, had the automatic spot. But I did the math, and I was like, if I do okay at Crankworks Whistler, which is a lot easier for me to travel to than it would have been to go back to Norway, I should be able to be top 50 on the UCI ranking. So I didn't go to national champs because I was already back in the US and working on my PhD. And then didn't go there, and then went to Whistler to get the points, and then they canceled the race. So then,
Oh shit! Yeah.
yeah. So now I'm like,
Oh
I've been
no.
between
Okay.
54 and 58 since I lost those national champ points, and I was like, oh. So then I had to
Stressful.
reach out to the
Yeah.
federation, and then since there isn't that many Norwegians, they just gave me a petition spot for the rest of the races.
Okay.
And then if I would have qualified for another final, I would have had enough points. But I didn't. I was like 6th
So
in
close.
Q2.
So close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So now I'm kind of like, either I need to go get some points or... But it was relatively easy for me to petition.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder for people that have, obviously like America, I'm sure there's a lot of guys at every race that want to go. But being from Norway and familiarity obviously is good to go. There isn't that many girls like fighting for those spots. So it was all good, but we'll see if the rules change again next year.
Yeah. So right now you need to like maybe go points hunting to be officially in for next year.
Yeah, because I'm still like 58th, I think.
Yeah.
So if I did, I don't know, one fairly big race, it should be okay. But
book a flight to California. There's this super
I know.
random ass downhill series.
I did see that, and I was like, oh, I really should go. And I haven't actually sat down and looked if I could do it, but I literally was like, I should do that. And I just like got back to work, and they're kind of like, you've been gone for 6 months. Like you can't really do that. And then I'm going to have to be like, hey, I'm going to go again. But we'll see. I'll figure something out. Either that or I don't know how it works for those Costa Rica races and stuff, but that could be
Yeah.
good to do in the spring regardless to try and get those points. And yeah, I think that monster race at Rock Creek was a lot of points this year, and I didn't do very well there because I had just gotten back from an injury. So maybe if I stepped it up a bit there too, that would be enough points to be top
Yeah.
50. But yeah,
Some options. Some
yeah.
options. Yeah, I guess. What was there like a story or a moment like this year that kind of embodied the privateer experience, like either a mud race or like a
Oh,
situation that you had to like really think on your feet to figure out?
I was able to get away like fairly good, but the mud races were so hard.
Yeah.
In Poland, it was like snowing, and it was the first race, and I hadn't like you were just figuring out like everything at that point, and they had two pressure washers.
Oh
So the
no.
line was obviously huge, and then all the teams had obviously their pressure washers, but they all had like water reservoirs. So they wouldn't let me borrow them because they didn't have enough water for their bikes, essentially. So you get down, and my car was like up on a hill. So I got down from practice and then had to stand in the pressure washing line, just freezing to death, waiting to wash the bike off to go back up because it was so muddy. So that kind of sucked. And then in Leger too, the mud was like,
It looked so
there was
bad.
so much mud.
Yeah.
And there isn't that much time in between. And there they had no pressure washers. So I just had to like go beg all the factory pits if I could borrow their pressure washer, and then just had to like wait to whenever they took a break because obviously everybody's pressure washing. So that was the hardest part. And then
Yeah.
some days would like in Val de Sol, there's no parking, like absolutely no
Yeah,
parking.
no.
So I had to get up and drive like some of my stuff, like my bike, spare wheel set, my toolbox. I drove it to the venue, jumped out of the car, like ran over to Future Frameworks, let me put my stuff in their van, put it there, ran back to the car, drove the car back to the accommodation, and then pedaled my trail bike back in.
Oh my
And
God.
practice is at like 8:30 in the morning. So it's like 7, and you're just like running around trying to like get your toolbox to the venue. That kind of sucked. And it was really hot. So it's hard to like find something to eat that isn't going to go bad in the heat, obviously. And I don't want to bring like a ton of stuff.
all this tiny details that
Yeah.
actually matter so much. It's
Yeah.
like you can get everything dialed, and then it's like if you don't have food,
You're screwed.
you're screwed.
Or water.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, since I had to like run it all back and forth, and the people were just like yelling at me because you weren't supposed to like stop there, but I didn't have anybody to sit in the car while I ran it over. You like forget stuff, and you have to like try and plan for everything, and then yeah, I got better at doing my bike work at a better time eventually, because at that point I had been up for like so long the night before, like fixing my bike too. So then you feel like you're just like running the whole weekend trying to
Well,
make
yeah,
sure
it's
you
just
have
like
everything.
the mental stress of all that's insane.
Yeah, you never like
Like,
get to sit down and just like, okay, make sure I have everything for tomorrow.
did your bike mechanic skills get a good testing this year?
Yeah, and luckily I'm not that like aggressive of a rider, I guess, so I don't break a lot
Yeah.
of stuff. So that was good, but I definitely like it was kind of cool because like I did a privateer year before in 21, but I knew nothing. And now I'm used to having like I had Jim, Lucas mechanic now, and then Josh that is Lucky's mechanic at Trek, like both like maybe two of the best mechanics out there, you know. And to go from that to like going back to my setup in 21 would have been terrible. So, yeah, I definitely learned a lot, and I was able to like, I just kind of stripped the frame every week in the beginning of the week, and
Yeah,
then
it's a big job. Yeah.
yeah, made sure everything was good, and luckily most of the time things were good. And then I'm on the Santa Cruz, which obviously helps because it's such an easy bike to work on, but
Yeah.
that was also part why I wanted that bike. And then same with like my wheels. I picked what wheels I wanted to run based on, okay, I want obviously really good wheels, but also I'm by myself, so I need to make sure they're strong enough. And we were on the Envies the year before, and we had such good, like, no issues with them. So I was like, I want to run those wheels.
Those were the
So
M9s, right? The M9
yeah,
Pros.
yeah, they
Yeah,
came out like last year, I think, at the end
yeah.
of the season.
I've
So
ridden those. They're sick.
yeah, they're super good. They feel really good too. Because
Hmm.
when we first got on Envies, we were on that older model that was really stiff. And
Yeah,
you're like, oh,
it was like a disc.
yeah,
May as well like didn't have any spokes. It was just like a
no,
solid.
like a solid wheel. And
Yeah,
every time you hit something, it would just make like noises. You're
yeah.
like, what's happening? But yeah, the new wheel was really good, and they're super strong. So
Hmm.
they stay like, for me, like I didn't really have to even mess with the spokes much. Like I
Yeah,
checked them
yeah,
obviously, but so that made it easier. And then I guess my biggest skill was Maven brake bleeds. I feel like
yep.
I've gotten those pretty dialed now.
Yeah, sweet, sweet.
But that took a while because they're
Hmm.
kind of finicky, and I'm really picky, and I have the shortest
Yeah.
fingers, so I have to have the lever so close.
Oh, you run your
Which,
bike. You have to are running like right on the bar, pretty much.
yeah, pretty much. So
Hmm.
that makes it like the brakes don't like to live there. They're not designed to be that close. So
Yep.
yeah, I got a lot better at that, which was good. But yeah, just overall, like even shifting, I'm so bad at making my bike shift. So I had to, like a few times I broke the derailleur. So then I was
Hmm.
like, okay, I have to do this now. And then watch a YouTube video and then figure it out.
Yep. Yep.
It's
In the heat
funny.
of battle, got to figure like one way or another.
Yep.
We're figuring it out.
Yep. But yeah, it was good. And I didn't have any big mess ups. So pretty happy with that.
Yeah. And I guess like riding wise, what was kind of the highlight of the
I,
year?
I think the whole Latuile weekend was my favorite.
Yeah.
Both Latuile and Andorra, but
Hmm.
because I kind of came in a bit not prepared because I had an injury in the spring.
Yeah.
But I
What
was
was
like,
that? Like, what were you working with?
it was kind of stupid. I just hurt my back like in the gym, and it was a bit annoying because I was like I took a bunch of time off after the season last year because my shoulder dislocated, and we were like back and forth with surgery, not surgery. Decided to like rehab it, so I didn't get back on the bike till like mid-January, and
Okay.
then hurt my back like 2 weeks later, and was like, oh. So I had like spent the whole off season just kind of like getting back to like a decent place, and like was
Hmm.
ready to start training, and then probably just pushed it too hard. And I don't even know exactly what happened, but it was super painful, and I couldn't really do anything until it like healed. But there wasn't anything like broken or anything severe, so
Was it
it
like a
was just,
nerve pain or like a,
I don't know. It was like
yeah.
low back, and it
Uh,
just like anytime I would move, it hurt so bad, or even sitting. So it was terrible. Like it hurt to just like exist. Because when you hurt your back, like
yeah.
there's like, what do you do? Like my favorite
Yeah.
part of the day was like laying in bed, but then you lay in a bed, and then 5 minutes later you're uncomfortable again. So
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like a severe big injury, but it was just kind of annoying, and it felt so like stupid, you know.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like I
Getting hurt
didn't.
in the gym is, yeah,
Oh,
it's hard pill to
yeah.
swallow. Yeah.
So that was a bit of a lesson, I guess, for me. But yeah, so then I just was. They basically told me to just like let it rest, and we did all these little exercises or whatever, and eventually it got better, and it was all good. But yeah, so I didn't get much time on the bike at all before I flew over.
Hmm.
And then I decided to go anyway to just kind of like, there's really no better place to be than in Europe if you want to get up to
If you're
speed.
trying to
So
get up to speed, yeah, yeah. Like
yeah,
doing laps at Windrock is not going to get you. It's
no,
only going to
like
get you so far. Yeah.
yeah, it'll definitely get you somewhere, and it's a good place to be in the winter, but it's a different game over there, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like for me it's important to just be like, come to Poland and get smoked, and you're like, okay. Like there's no more like, oh, maybe I'm still good, you know.
Yeah. There's no
You're
guessing
like,
where the level is. Like
no.
now you know.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good, and I just did that, and then after Poland we had,
Well, when was Poland? Like so
it
the
was,
timeline's pretty tight.
yeah, it was early May.
Yeah.
So I think I flew because I bought a van in Norway, which was good. But I flew from here to Norway, picked up the van, and then drove it down to Nina's house in Germany.
Okay.
And then I rode with Nina and Ellie that weekend before Poland. So Poland was maybe like the second weekend of May.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we had 1 week off and then straight into Ludenville and Leogang. So that was like a big mission to drive by myself too. But luckily after Poland, I think me and Millie went to Leogang and we did a bunch of laps there. And then I drove straight down to Andorra and did like 3 days there. And then coming into Ludenville, I was already in a much better place, like with the bike and everything. So, yeah, that was good. But yeah, definitely came in a bit off the pace. So then in La Tuile, like I kind of built a little bit every race until Val de Sol. And in Val de Sol, I was super, super close, like less than a second off qualifying. So that was pretty cool. And then, because Val de Sol is like the gnarliest track too. Yeah. So it felt like, okay, like I can actually do this. Because I felt like not fit enough there. So I was pretty stoked to like feel that shit and then be really close to the pace. So then La Tuile, it was a new venue for everybody. And nobody had really, like a few people had ridden there, but we didn't even know like what to expect. And we drive there and it's like this crazy place, like in the, like, right next to Mont Blanc, like kind of on the foot of Mont Blanc on the Italy side. That's like not that famous. And it was like super cool. And then we get there and the track is like the funnest thing I've ever ridden. Like it was so steep and just fresh, loamy, like not even a berm on the track, I don't think. Like it was full, like proper, old school, like sick downhill. So I was already just like, even to just ride it, I was stoked. And weather was awesome. The venue was like easy. Like I got my car closed and it was sick. And then just like had like the best weekend and it was awesome. I hung out with Evan and Noel Medcalf and we just privateered. Like it's funny, all the privateers kind of stick together.
Yeah. You had some teammates.
Yep. So it was good. And then I think that was probably my best race too. I don't remember. But I remember my Q1 was like actually really close to making it straight through Q1. So I was like, okay, that's sick. And then did similar run in Q2 and then didn't really know what to do in finals. I was just like, I feel like I've done my best run already. So it's a bit weird to go out there on finals day. Didn't have the best finals.
3 race runs. Like,
it's crazy. And for me, like, I didn't at any point really figure it out in Q1. So my Q2 was always a lot better than my Q1. So that was a bit tough to figure out. But then by the time you've done Q2, you're just like, that was the fastest I can go, you know? What do I do now?
That was it. Like,
So I came into finals and was just like, I have no idea how to like go about today. But it was still a super cool experience. And then, just the whole weekend was awesome. The Oland's guys helped me out and it was really good. And then Andorra too was cool just because I kind of don't really like that track. It's so fast and terrifying and kind of easy. And I was just like, the first day of practice, I was just like, this sucks. And then you have this pressure of like, I just qualified, so now I want to qualify again. So I kind of just struggled the whole first day. And then somehow for the second day, just like fully turned it around. And I think my Q2 run there was like the most crazy feeling I've ever had. Like I just was riding and everything felt so easy. And I just felt like so present. So that was maybe a highlight as well. Just
to get that feeling, like
and then you like try and find that feeling again, but I didn't quite figure it out. But that was crazy. And then luckily, because it didn't feel crazy, you know. I guess everybody always says that. Like I got down to the bottom and was like, oh, I hope that was like a bit faster than my Q1, and it was like 5 seconds faster. So that was pretty cool. But
it's like cool, but also frustrating. You're like, why can't I do that all the time?
Yeah. And then now that you've done it, you're just like, every week when you don't do it, you're just like disappointed, you know?
Yeah. That wasn't it.
Yeah, that wasn't it. Don't know how to get back there, but
yeah.
No, that was a cool experience too. Nice. And then there was a lot of good. Like even the second half was still good, but those were definitely the two highlights.
I mean, it had to hurt being so close for so many races.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurt me looking at the results sheet.
Oh, I think maybe because like at that point, like in the beginning, you're just like building, right? Mm-hmm. But then you like do it, and then you're like, okay, this is the new standard, I guess.
Yeah.
And then after the break too, there was like, not to like make what I did seem less impressive, but when I did qualify, a lot of people were hurt. Mm-hmm. And obviously when you take 15, that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So when we came back after the break, I was like, I feel better. I'm like more prepared, whatever. Like I know I can go fast, but there was a lot more people there. So that felt a bit like scary in a way. And it's still hard to like you look at all the people that are on factory rides and get paid. And then I know I shouldn't look at that because I know if I have a good run, it doesn't really matter, you know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that was a bit scary. And then, so I felt like maybe some of those races were actually like quite good because I was able to put down like pretty good runs, but then it was just not good enough. But yeah, it kind of...
Yeah. It's not a reflection of like the progress that you probably felt personally. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is like you get 6th or whatever in Q2. They take 5, right? It doesn't matter if you get 6th or you get last. Like, it doesn't give you anything. Like you're just out. Yeah. You don't get any points. You don't get anything. Like you might as well have not been there, you know? Mm-hmm. So that kind of sucks because, especially when I needed those like 10 points so bad.
Yeah. One final would have done it. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a bit difficult. And because it started in the J, it was muddy. It was really difficult. And I did end up crashing in both Q1 and Q2. But Q1, I was pretty slow. And then Q2, I was like, okay, you just got to go for it. And I was like on pace and then crashed. I was like, Then World Champs, I just kind of sucked. That was difficult. I struggled that weekend. But then the next two, again, like 6th. And I was like, oh. And I came across the line in Lake Placid. And I knew I needed to be, I think, 3rd. If everybody beat me after that to make it in. And I came into 4th and I was like, no. But it was still like as much as it sucks, at least from like okay, I'm kind of there. Mm-hmm. There's like no time in it. And even in Monterey, which was one of my like tougher weekends, I went up for Q2 and I was like really disappointed because I was like 18th in Q1 or something. And then you go to the start gate and I'm lining up between Jess Blewett and Phoebe Gale. And I'm like, I guess like that is kind of crazy in itself, you know, because they're both very respectable riders. So just to be like in that mix is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But not making it in is brutal. Yeah.
I mean, I've had it before where you're just like on this bubble. Times are tight there, but for some reason you're just like just barely on the edge. And it just seems like how statistically like, I don't know, improbable that it actually ends up this way. You're just continuing to be in like this spot that's so close to where you want to be. It's so frustrating. But
it was a bit frustrating because like it makes such a big difference, right? Yeah. If you were that one spot higher, you get to race finals, you get points. Even if you crash in finals, you get points. Yeah. And you get like people just like the 2 races I did make it in, like everybody like kind of blows it up and it seems like this big thing and you get all the media attention and all the stuff. And what I did wasn't any more impressive. It just worked out differently, you know?
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. It's hard to square that, you know, it's always the process and the results, but when it's that close for something that matters that much, it's just hard to ignore that. Yeah. But it seems like you got a good perspective on it regardless, like even though it is tough.
You got it, right? Because at
Yeah.
least I think if I would have been like way off and I don't know, like not even close, then you're like, okay, what's the point in this? Because it was difficult and it was a lot of work, and it doesn't really give me much other than like chasing whatever I'm chasing, right, for my own sake. And uh, at least when you're that close, you're like, okay, like I'm doing something right, and it's not fully pointless, and like it's still worth putting effort into this, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool. But yeah, a few more finals would have been good.
Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, for you, like how does racing fit into your life as like a higher level goal, or just like I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's like a basic question, but it kind of like is the question. Is like
right. It's
it's
a
like what,
bit
why do you do it, you know?
right. And it's such a big question, right? Especially now that I'm like older, because I'm like, okay, maybe if I just actually sat down and finished this PhD and did like, I have this amazing opportunity and I'm quite good at it. And like, all the people in the lab are like, why don't you, like, you're not putting any effort into this, you know, like relative to what they're
Hmm.
doing. And, but it just isn't like, to me, I grew up just sports. It was everything. Like it was my favorite thing to do. Always was super into it. Always wanted to be an athlete. And then things happen and it doesn't always work out the way you envision as a 7-year-old or whatever. But I still always had this, like, every morning I get up and I do my workouts, and that's the most important thing of my day. And then when I finish that, I do what I need to do for work. And I don't know. It's nice to have this like goal and something you're working towards. And yeah, so for me, then the head injury happened. Like I worked towards something, and it was still like I was young enough. I kind of was building steady, you know, towards trying to race downhill professionally, while kind of figuring out how to pay for things and also how to be in America. So I couldn't go all in. Just like, I mean, some people have a big opportunity as a kid, or parents that support or whatever. But I kind of had to do it my way, which was cool. And then I built slowly, and then did my first full season in 21. Got picked up on Union, and it felt like this amazing opportunity, you know, like this is what I've been dreaming of for years and working towards. And even when I did that season in 21, I was like, this is it. Like I put all my money into this, and either I get a ride or I'm done, because I
Hmm.
can't continue to figure this out anymore. And then did get the ride, and it felt like this amazing thing. And then I crashed and had this crazy kind of head injury that was pretty new to me then, and I didn't know much about it or whatever, you know. And then
So did that
ever
did that happen like very soon after you got the union ride?
yeah, I was good all winter, and
Hmm.
then we did like the first couple of races, and I was like kind of learning that whole. I was so nervous and all the pressure from like being on the team or whatever, which was all in my head. But yeah, so I had like a few pretty good results and a few like really good qualies, and then I think it was the third race,
Hmm.
maybe the fourth, but like June, early June in that season, and we started fairly late that season. Um, so I was just like starting to find my groove, I guess, and then yeah, just crazy crash at Crankworks Innsbruck, and it ended up being way bigger than I could have ever imagined, you know?
Yep.
And then after that, it kind of all just became try and be better, like try and
Just be
fight
healthy.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like the yeah, I know.
Like it became a battle of like waking up in the morning
Yeah.
and being able to drive a car and being able to like go to dinner with my friends without having to like leave, you know, like I want to sit through this dinner and I hate every minute of it, and like try my best not to like look like a psycho, you know. And yeah, that was difficult. So then, but it still was like the whole time I was like, all I want to do is go back and ride my bike. And when you have that, like, you're so low and you can't even drive a car or do anything normal, and all you want to do is ride a bike, then that feels like it's, I don't know, it felt like that was what I needed to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So then it became a goal of like, I want to get back and I want to be healthy enough to race my bike again. And then that, maybe I pushed it a bit. I don't know. It's hard to know because
So hard. Yeah.
the doctors were like, okay, you need to like push forward. But obviously, if you do too much, you go backwards.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, it was like, okay, go for 2 15-minute walks a day. And then eventually, like, okay, you can ride your bike on the road for 10 minutes and then 15 minutes and then 20 minutes and then make sure your heart rate doesn't go over 120 and then 130 and then, you know. But that took so long and I wanted so badly to race. But it was more like a fight to be back to who I was more than like the racing itself. And that just took a long time. And then, yeah, 24 season was, I like started to feel like I was relatively normal, but then coming back in 25 and like how much better I was such a crazy thing that I felt like I wasn't actually fully good from the head injury until like this past winter.
Yeah. What were the things that you noticed that changed, like from being like, because I mean, we talked a little bit about it, like when you were kind of going through this, but I've had my own head injury journey.
Yep.
And I feel like there's
Sucks.
a point where you're non-symptomatic,
Yeah.
but you're not
You're
good
not
yet.
fine.
But
Yeah.
it's like that gap is like really vague
Yeah.
and hard to understand. Like, and I think so. So what were the differences between like feeling better and then like where you actually are now?
It's almost like hard to explain too, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I would just get so tired. Like that sounds kind of crazy, right? But I would be riding and I would be doing my training or whatever, but then I would get to a point where I was like not fully there because I was just like my brain wasn't keeping up or I was so tired that I like wasn't like fully present. And it was so hard to like know when that happened. So then I would like try and do my training or whatever and then kind of just like fade. And then sometimes I would come home and just be like, Dakotah would talk to me and I would be like, I have no idea what you're saying. Like you kind of just felt like, I always say I go stupid, but I just felt like really stupid. Like I wasn't able to like take in what was happening around me at some point. And then I needed to like rest and I would come back to normal. But with that and like not, because it wasn't like, oh, now I'm tired. It was like a gradual thing, right? So then it was hard to know like when to stop. So then I would have all these other dumb injuries because my body wasn't strong enough to do the training I was doing. So I probably was like hurting myself more than actually getting fitter. So I wasn't strong enough when I crashed to like take those impacts. And I think too, like this year when I'm riding, I'll have a moment and save it and be like, because your body just does what you're supposed to do. And that wouldn't happen. Like I would just have a moment
You would just
and be
have
on
the
the
moment
floor.
and crash.
Yeah. And then have like a crazy injury. Well, so this year, like a lot of, like, even like getting more confident in my riding this year because I could make a mistake and not crash. Like sometimes, obviously, yes, I would crash. But even when I did crash, the impact of that crash or outcome of it was way less severe than any crash I had in those 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty crazy. And then even just like the simple things like going to dinner. Even last year I would go to dinner and be like so overwhelmed by the time we left that I just wanted to go home and cry. It's crazy that that sounds, you know?
Yeah.
And I no longer have, like, yeah, maybe sometimes if we're in like really loud places, but like I'm also getting old. Maybe people just,
I know.
you know, can't handle all that. But like way less of those things where I just feel like I just want to scream. Like I would get so overwhelmed that I just wanted to like yell at everybody. And I don't have that anymore. And then with work too, like I can sit down and sometimes with the PhD you have a problem that takes like an hour to think about. And I would get so like I couldn't do it, you know.
Yeah.
And then now
You just
I
reach
can
a limit. Yeah.
yeah. And then when you reach that limit, like your whole day would be done. I would just
Yeah.
need to go do something else. And now I can, like, I'll find myself like, oh, it's been an hour and I've just been thinking about this one thing, which is pretty cool. So yeah, just like
Yeah.
little things that you maybe think is normal after being injured for that long. And then when they come back, you're like, oh, that's so crazy, you know?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And like, I mean, how have you handled the mental side of that going back to racing? I mean, like for me, that was something that I don't know. I don't think I ever really like squared up with it to like go that hard into racing again.
It's pretty hard. And I don't know if I fully have, but I
Yeah.
think like this year was kind of cool because A, I could do it and it felt like so rewarding, you know? But then B, like I kind of had to go through all that and I
Yeah.
was like ready, I think. But yeah, like a few times I would like maybe talk about it a little bit, but it's like, okay, the last 3 years, like I was so scared of crashing, like so scared of crashing because every time I crashed, there would be something else. And like I had the head injury and then I don't even remember, but the list of little injuries since then have been huge. And I felt like I couldn't catch a break. And then, like, like I said earlier, like, okay, I can have a moment and be okay. Like learning that again took a long time to like, okay, I can actually push a little harder and a little harder. And I'm fairly like, I guess calculated, maybe too calculated sometimes, which is probably why I do better at like the fresh new technical stuff than the really all out berms stuff. But yeah, like I felt like the whole season I was just slowly like building a bit of confidence back and a bit of like that run in Andorra where I fully just had nothing on my mind but the next corner, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
It's
getting back to that was pretty crazy. But then I still would have like, okay, the fear takes over, whatever, and I would ride down 80% or whatnot. But it was still like cool to try and get through that. And I definitely haven't. Probably one of the more scared people. Or if people get hurt, I'm always like, ugh. And it like takes more of a toll on me than it did before. And especially like with head injuries or some of the younger girls, like third concussion this year, I'm like, it like feels different. And I don't want what I went through for anybody, you know?
Yeah.
And seeing like, you do see more of like, okay, people do get really hurt doing this.
When I see a crash, that's the first thing that I think about is like, did they hit their head? Like,
right.
what's that look like? You know, like even watching Rampage, like once you've been through something like that, it's like,
it's gnarly.
It's heart wrenching. Like,
yeah. And it takes, Dakotah's like, why are you worrying about all these other people? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's, even like with Matt Walker, like he hit his head. I don't even remember what race it was, but then he posted the other day that he's struggling with all these concussion symptoms still, and it's been a couple of months, and you're just like it hurts on a different level than it did before, and I'm more aware of those situations, I guess. But it's still like maybe I won't be able to just be like the junior girls where you go out there and you fully just don't care. But I think I've just been okay with that. Like, to me now, this has become kind of my process to getting back to where I want to be. And it's okay that I'm scared. And it's okay that that changed my life. And then all I can do is do the best. And like some weekends, I'll be way worse than other weekends. And then I'm just like, okay, now you're terrified. Let's work on something, you know, like we're here, we're paid to be here. Like, let's just try and make the most of it. But it's okay that maybe you don't want to do this one thing or whatever. And I guess I've just decided to be okay with it. But then it's been cool to kind of see the progress through the year as well.
Yeah. So. I mean, it's like just a really good platform to like work on yourself in that way.
Right.
And just test yourself and like, I guess, challenge yourself with those big questions and anxieties and like maybe in a way that would be like almost impossible otherwise if you just never did it again.
Yeah, for sure.
So
absolutely. Because it is like a like we all love doing it, right? We got into it for some reason, and it is crazy to do. Like a lot of my friends from home are like, what are you doing? And even the people at work are like, why would you waste, like, because a lot of them saw it all because they were there before I got hurt and then after, and they're like, why would you waste your talent, like when you could just fall again, lose it all, you know?
Yeah.
Like your
Yeah.
brain will never, like you, like it, they're like, it's so stupid, but
Yep.
it is that feeling of, I don't know, like you love doing it, right? And trying to be better and trying to figure out that one run where everything just goes perfect. So
Yeah.
yeah, but sometimes it's definitely a struggle, but yeah, it's been good to kind of go through some of that. I think even for like the future, you know, you don't want to be scared forever.
No.
Anything could happen at any point.
No. And yeah, I've found that like there's it's like riding with calculation with regards to that stuff, but not anxiety.
Exactly.
And I think when I started riding again for mine, there was like a lot of anxiety, and then that just makes you hesitate. I had a bunch of crashes too, coming back, and like setbacks
Yeah.
as well.
And then that makes it even harder, you know, because you're like, why is this happening? Like,
Yeah,
am I not supposed to do this anymore, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It sends you down a rabbit hole, and then
Yeah.
a few times, like I got into the opposite situation where it's like I had built up like some strength and then some good feelings, and then it's like I feel that confidence again, and I'm able to put it out the back of my mind, and then I you like take it too far
Yeah.
and then I'm on the ground again, and it's like, oh, that was stupid. So it's like finding that middle ground of being smart and calculated but not reckless, but also not riding with anxiety.
Right. Because the riding with anxiety is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like when I have those days, because some days I'm just like that. And then it's
Yeah.
hard to explain to somebody. Like we were at this race in Rock Creek, and like right when I got back from my stupid back injury, and I was just having a nightmare, and I couldn't tell you why. I was just terrified. And then Dakotah is like, what are you doing? Like, why are we here? Like, you're not even, like, you don't even look like you. And I'm like, I can't explain it to you. But this is it. Like, this is, like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be shitty, but I have this, like, overwhelming feeling in my head or whatever, you know, like, I just feel like I can't even explain it to you.
Yeah.
And then I tried to be like, okay, I know that I'm not going to have a good result, and I know I'm off the pace and whatever, but there's still something that I can do today to be better for, because what I care about is the World Cups. I don't actually, like, yeah, it'd be good to do well here, and it sucks to be on the end of the result list and people are like, oh, what happened to Frida? But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter. And what does matter is that I'm here and
working through it, you know?
yeah, like this is it. This is what it's going to be today. So let's try and make it the best that it can be. And okay, I struggled with, I don't remember exactly what I chose to focus on, but then I was like, okay, I'm going to work on pumping and braking early and carrying speed or whatever. And then you put your mind to that rather than that you have to go do this crazy thing for this result. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to go ride practice and work on this one thing. And then I'm going to go do my run and work on that. And then you do your race run and whatever. And then you do get some confidence back out of it. And yeah, I just had to learn to be okay with whatever the weekend gave me, you know?
Totally. Yeah. Giving yourself a little bit of grace. Cause I mean, it's like, it's a lot of, I don't know, it's a lot of trauma to work through, and it can just come up in weird random ways, and you kind of just gotta be okay with that. And
it doesn't always make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't need an explanation, but like that's just part of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point, so.
But then when you have those days where you like are able to do something you were scared of or whatever, then that feels so much more rewarding as well.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Let's So what's going on with this PhD program? What are you working on? How long have you been at it? Like where are you at with work, school things?
Situation. So I don't even know how long I've been working on it for. I started my master's in January 2019, I believe. Did 2 years of that. And when I got into that, I was like in undergrad, I would race all summer, do the races I could, and then come back, do the school thing in the fall, winter, spring, and then leave for Europe all summer. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go to grad school, right? Didn't even look into it. Was like, this is a great idea. I can continue to do what I'm doing. I get my visa in America. So I apply for grad school, get in, everything is good. And then this guy emails me and is like, hey, do you want to come work in my lab? We'll pay you. And I was like, that sounds great. Like, do school and get paid? Like, this is awesome. So I'm like, yeah, sure, sign everything. And then he's like, oh yeah, you know you're supposed to be here all summer, right? And I was like, what? So that's how I got into all this. And then my boss ended up actually being really cool. And I did my master's the 2 years. I asked for, we had 2 weeks of vacation. So I used those 2 weeks to go to Europe. Then I asked for 2 more weeks to go race those. We had like snowshoe months and end those years. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do 4 races those 2 years. They went fairly well. And then he was like, do you want to stay for your PhD? And I'm like, if you let me go race all the World Cups, I will stay. And that's how that all happened.
Okay.
So somehow I was able to find an advisor that was cool with
that,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, because that's really rare, especially in engineering. Like, those guys are almost as competitive as the mountain biker guys, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, to them, this is everything, and they put so much effort into it, and they work so hard for no money just to become whatever researcher they're aiming to become, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's pretty funny because I found myself in the middle of this crazy environment. But yeah, somehow I was able to work it out. So I had a project, because for my master's, I did a lot of experimental work and had to be in the lab all the time. But we were able to find a project that I could do anywhere pretty much. And I still helped out in the lab, but I worked pretty closely with another random thing that just worked out so well for me. With this guy from India that we ended up kind of doing our PhDs together, which is also really rare. But that way I was able to help him, and we would like hustle on his stuff while I was there. And then when I was gone, he would help me with the stuff that we could do remote. So that worked out really, really well. But yeah, then the head injury happened. So it obviously slowed down things a bit, which sucked. But my boss was like so nice, because obviously since I'm not American, my status here is depending on whether or not I'm a full-time student. So whenever that happened, and I realized I couldn't, because I tried so hard to like go back and do anything, you know, just to like keep my position. And then eventually I had to call him and be like, hey, I can't do this. Like, I think I need to just leave. And however we need to do it, I'm gonna ask if I can come back. And I don't know how long it will be, but I would love to come back and finish whenever I'm ready, you know. And he was able to work with me so that I was able to stay here. Because with like health insurance and everything, it was going to be such a mess. Mm-hmm. So he was able to help me so I could stay here, which was really, really cool. And it like saved me, obviously. And then he let me just take my time, and I worked back like slowly. Like, I would come back for 2 hours one day a week and then slowly build that back. So that obviously was pretty tough, but was able to like stay in it, which was pretty cool. And then again, like, I still had like things I needed to deliver and whatever, like through the research projects I was on. And my Indian friend, Anirban, he would just like kind of drag me along and take care of all the stuff so I didn't get fired, essentially. Damn. Yeah, which was crazy. So I owe like both of them so much for helping me out through that time. And then I was able to come back and slowly get back to, okay, I can at least do all the stuff in Irban doesn't, like, that is easy. Like, I can write the papers, I can do run the data, I can sort the data, I can do things like that. And then he would do all like the crazy PhD thinking, you know. And then eventually I was like keeping up with what he was saying, which was positive. And then like this past year, I've been able to actually do things on my own again.
Do some heavy duty thinking.
Yep. So now he graduated, and it was luckily in the time where I was ready to fully come back. So now I do everything on my own. He still helps me quite a bit, but at least I'm back to being able to finish it. And yeah, that's going to be pretty cool too, because it all like seemed so impossible at some point, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I'm doing mechanical engineering. Technically, it's in
Okay.
fluid dynamics,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm working on something called an electrolyzer, which is a little device that splits water into hydrogen and oxygen, and then you use the hydrogen for energy storage, kind of like a battery where you can store chemical energy and use it whenever needed, right? So that's been pretty cool. It's a bit niche maybe, but I've definitely learned a lot of crazy stuff. And yeah, now I'm trying to make, for my PhD specifically, trying to make a model of this tiny, tiny little porous material inside there and how the flow can be optimized in there, which is pretty wild. But yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, how far off are you? Is this an off-season project?
A couple of off seasons. I think
Yeah.
I've worked on this for maybe 4 years.
Yeah.
And it's been like, we thought we could do it. It was like one of those things where you hired somebody that aren't really qualified to do this job. And they're like, absolutely, we can do this. And then you get into it and you realize like, okay, maybe not. But now we've said we're going to do it. So we're going to have to figure it out. That definitely happened. But hopefully, I think we're actually kind of close to being able to have something that is in the ballpark of what we said we were going to do.
Yeah.
Which is going to be pretty
is
cool.
Sorry, I know nothing about this world, or not very much. Is what you're delivering like a physical thing, or is it like a concept that's just like very well thought out that has like new data and is like kind of a research project?
I think it depends on where you go to school and your advisor. But for us in my department, I guess, you have to do publications.
Okay.
So within like the electrochemistry research, there's like a few journals that do electrolyzer stuff and hydrogen stuff or whatever. So to be able to publish in that journal, you write your paper and then you send it in, and then it gets reviewed by like 3 or 4 people that are considered like at a high level in your field. So if they read it and they say like, okay, this is good, like this fills a gap of something that hasn't been done, it's new research, they've done it professionally, the data looks fine, like then they accept it and your paper gets published. So it has to like go through all these, like you can't just write a paper and get it published. Like it has to be within whatever qualifications you have to meet to publish it. So to get a PhD from University of Tennessee in mechanical engineering, you have to have like 2 or 3 first author publications and ideally a couple of second author publications. So essentially what you do when you get those things published, you put it all together in this big ass document, and that's your dissertation text, right? It's like 200 pages about your research. And then you have obviously like, you need to do certain classes and a few steps to get there, but that's like your big deliverable. And then you do a presentation in front of anybody can show up, and you do a 45-minute presentation about your work, and then your committee can ask you questions for like 30 minutes about anything, and then you're supposed to like pass those questions, and if you do, you get your PhD essentially. But yeah, if you have some publications that are kind of like it shows that your work is met a certain standard, then they normally will pass you. Like they don't let you go to the point of defending if they don't think you are gonna pass, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Has it been tough to like switch gears out of bike mode to
Yeah,
work
it's pretty
PhD mode?
crazy because it's both like it takes a lot out of you, right? Like you feel like you're very committed to either.
Yeah.
And it's hard to feel like you're very committed to both because your brain always wants to do one thing really well, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit difficult to go back and forth. And sometimes I'm like, you just feel kind of jealous because you're not putting, or not jealous, but like not happy because you feel like you're not putting in the required effort in either of the two things because you're just, you know. But yeah, it's nice like in the fall whenever that can be my main focus.
Yeah,
So I
just
come
to
home,
zero in, yeah.
yeah, and then like finish off whatever you need to do and then work on a bit on sponsor stuff and stuff for next year. But at least it's not like in the middle of the season where you want to go out and do 20 laps of testing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can wake up in the morning and go to the computer and kind of do what I need to do. So that's good. Like the fall is definitely my most productive time, which works out well for trying to be done in May because then I have like fall and beginning of winter to kind of hustle, and then hopefully we can get it all done and then focus on bikes for the summer, which would be pretty cool.
Yep. Yep. How are things looking for next year?
Honestly, I need to work on that.
Yep.
I don't really know. It's like I had a really good year and like personally it felt like I accomplished a lot more than maybe what it looks like, you know, just from my own battles. But it wasn't quite good enough to like make it onto one of the big teams because obviously now with the new rules, there's only 15 teams.
And they each
Plus,
need a
they don't
rider,
need to.
right? No?
They don't
Okay.
need to. So there's still a lot of teams that don't even have a woman. And then there's a few teams that have two, but they're all pretty filled up already. And obviously there's like a lot of kids coming up, and I think a few people that were kind of going my speed of the younger kids are a little faster, a little slower. They're probably more likely to get a ride just because they're young, obviously, which is fair. Like, no hard feelings there, but yeah, like I was hoping to maybe put down a few really good runs and see if I could get something for next year. But also the whole privateer thing has been pretty cool. And it's kind of nice to be at the race and do exactly what I want to do. And like there's no, I just do my thing.
There's no politics or conflict.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And I
it's
get
all
to ride.
on you, but it's also all up to you, you know? It's
Exactly.
Like, it's got some advantages as well, for sure.
Yeah. And I get to ride exactly what I want to ride. And I feel like I am in the best, like I can put myself in the best place to do the best based on being able to make those decisions, right?
Yeah.
And so that's been cool. And I still think I'm going to try and do that next year. And then maybe try and work on a few more things to add some more value and see if I can get maybe a little money for some people and make it a bit more maybe reasonable to do it again.
I mean, how'd you pull off this season? Were you able to like get some funding, or are you kind of just doing it on your own?
I don't even know. Like me and Dakotah had this conversation, and I'm like,
how does this
like,
make sense?
there's no way I'm gonna do this. And he is like, we'll make it happen. Like,
okay,
just try your best to get something together, and then fly over there, and we'll make it happen. And I was like, okay. So it seemed like the craziest thing, right? But I was able to get everything that I needed, like pretty much for free. Like bike. I really wanted to be on SRAM, but I didn't. I wanted to stay with Öhlins because I really, really like Öhlins. And but I also like wanted to be on SRAM, so I ended up buying the SRAM stuff because to me, like, I'd rather buy the stuff I want to be on than to be on something I don't want to be on, you know?
Yeah.
Unless you get paid a lot of money, obviously, but if they're not going to pay you for that, it wasn't that much money, you know. It's worth it to be on what I believe I can do the best on. But other than that, which was my own decision, I was able to get the stuff I needed from the stuff I wanted to ride to, which was cool. So obviously that is helping with a lot of expenses, and also like I get to keep it and sell it at the end of the year. So I had like a lot of the union stuff that I could sell that all went towards racing this year.
Yeah.
And then so that was good. And then Fox, obviously, with clothing and all that is covered, which was super cool. So I didn't have any like equipment gear expenses, which is good.
I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. But then I flew over there, had no plan, bought the van. We split the van. We were talking about doing the van regardless. Even before the union folded, we were like, this is the best way for us to be in Europe and make this good,
Just
you know?
independent,
Yeah, it sucks to not have that freedom.
Yeah.
So we split the van, bought a pretty nice van, which was cool. So then I could travel around in that. And then I kind of just winged it with accommodations. I was kind of like, hey, anybody got room? And then Steel City, Joe Bowman, they have like a few camera people, obviously, on the hill. So wherever they had space, I would stay with them. And then a few places I would stay with Dakotah, and that was easy and it worked out. But I didn't really know that until we got there, you know? So a few places I was like kind of stressed, but it all worked out, and I found a place to stay. And there was one night I was in, or one race I was in the van, but I was able to be like in the Gwyn's Airbnb parking lot, so I could use their kitchen and their shower, and it was great. And then I just put an air mattress in the van and slept there. So that obviously was a big, like, that would have been a big expense that I was able to work out. But I'm like obviously really lucky to have Dakotah there, and he needs a place to stay in between the races, so then we can split that. Like a few places we stayed with Pinky and a few of the other Americans, so then the cost in between isn't that big. And I didn't fly back and forth a whole lot, so then
I mean, that's the biggest expense. It's like once you're there, it's really not that bad. And then if you have just a network of friends that you can,
and it works out because like that's my kind of people, you know, like this is where I've been doing most of my races. So like a few of the places, like I would travel back with Nina, and she gets her room with the syndicate, and she's like, you can stay in my room, like it's all good. Stuff like that. So that worked out well. And I probably wouldn't have been able to do it without Dakotah there, obviously, but that was a big help. But I was able to kind of just wing it and make it happen. But that also was like, I didn't get to do as many US rounds as I wanted to because just the time. And I'm still technically working full time the whole time I'm over there. So I do get my monthly like pay, and I try my best to do as much as I can, you know. But that means that
there's an understanding there that
like I do a bit more in the fall and a bit less in the summer, and as long as the stuff is done by the end of the year, it's fine. And like we don't get paid that much, and technically we're supposed to be 20 hours a week, not 40 because visa stuff. So that is like a really good gig to have, obviously, but that also makes it so it was harder to go to those US races because it's kind of expensive. Like I would have to fly somewhere, and they're all like in Europe, you fly there and you do 6 races over 8 weeks. While the US races, you would have to go, come back, fly all your stuff, get a place, and you know. So that was a little bummed on not being able to make that happen, because I think there's a lot of value in doing those races as well, especially with a lot of my sponsors being like US based. But was able to make the Euro trip happen and do all the World Cups, which was pretty cool. Because I didn't know, like in the beginning of the season, I wasn't sure that I was going to make it to all of them.
Yeah, that was a massive season. It was like, what, 10 races or something? More?
I think there was 10 World Cups and World Champs. So 11.
I got your roots in rain.
Nice. And then we did Crankworks.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
didn't happen, but
Ugh,
yeah,
that's heartbreaking. 13 events this year. That's
yeah.
solid.
So there's probably 2 preseason events here, and then 11 over there, plus the current works that didn't happen.
Yeah. A few weeks look like for you? Or well, actually, no. I had one more question.
Oh.
What's it like just managing the relationship with you and Dakotah through like a race weekend? Like it's such an independent sport, but also you guys are over there together. You're on different programs. So like what does that look like?
It's like kind of crazy, but kind of good, you know?
Yeah.
Just because we do get to like travel around together, which is super cool. And then I think like even though I'm not on his level, I still put a lot of effort into racing where like on the level I'm at, right? So
Yeah.
there's still like a pretty big understanding between the two of us, like what you actually go through the weekend. So like a lot of the times it works out so I can stay with him, which is nice because he'll wake up in the morning, we're on different practice schedules or whatever. So I'll leave, we'll do our thing all day and you barely see each other. But then if something were to happen, like I know where to find him if I really needed him, and the other way around, you know? So we try and leave each other alone most of the day, and then you kind of get, like, you come back to your room and you get to like talk about it and share whatever ups and downs with like the person that you actually really want to talk to, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I think like for me, being by myself is obviously really nice to have him there, but I think for him too, like being able to come home to like something familiar at night and kind of get out of that whole team environment and all the crazy stuff that happens, and also having a person that kind of has gone through a similar day that you can share things with is super cool. But yeah, it's definitely like tough and it takes a lot to have both of us do it, but it's also like the most awesome thing too, because we can go do our training together and share stuff and work on the bike and figure out suspension things together or whatever, you know. It's pretty cool.
Has Dakotah got you on some fast rebound tunes?
Potentially.
Okay.
You see, the problem when you're like not a big dude, your spring rates are so low that it's hard to even get those fast rebound tunes, you know?
Oh, so he's trying to be on your your rebound stats.
Yeah. I have like the craziest shim stacks just trying to make it a little faster, you know? But I also want to run my like low spring rates with a lot of damping, and that slows the rebound down, and we're working through
it. Together.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny.
I mean, it's cool to see you guys like, I don't know, it seems like in the finished corral, or like, yeah, whether it's a good result or a bad result, like, yeah, being able to like share that moment and kind of be there for each other.
No, it's
I feel
super
like it's
cool.
pretty rare. Like,
yeah, because I feel like we both put a lot of effort into like each other's racing as well. Like he helped me with so much stuff, and with like technique or setup or riding, or even like he did my training program for the winter. Whenever he was hurt, I was like, hey, I don't think I can afford paying a coach anymore because obviously don't make any money doing this. And he was hurt and he like spent a week researching training and then put together a program for me, which was cool. And then I guess I do my best to support him in any way I can as well. So then whenever he has a good race, or it feels rewarding for me as well. And I think the same for him. Like whenever I first qualified, he was still like getting back to his old self, like going through the whole injury, coming back from that, which is a lot more than just the injury, as we know. And he came down to the bottom for his Q2 and like just ran over to me right away and was celebrating that I qualified and didn't even look at his own time, you know, which was crazy. But yeah, it's pretty cool to have like your best friend to go through all of that with and share ups and downs. And
yeah, damn. Team Frida Dak has been put through the fucking ringer.
Oh, it was a heavy couple of years.
Yeah, holy
but I
shit.
think it helped me to kind of understand a bit more of his struggles as well, like this past winter. So it's kind of nice to, when you're that low, you know, and you're going through something that gnarly that most people don't recognize because they've never had to be there, luckily. it's good to have somebody that kind of gets it, you know? Because
Mm-hmm.
I think having him be that depressed and frustrated and me not understanding that at all would have been so difficult. Because there was a few times when even I did understand, I was like, you just want to be like, just stop, you know? Like, get it together, just walk outside for 2 minutes. I know you can't walk, but hobble your ass out there, you know? But being able to have that, like deep down, I know that is not that easy. And
Yeah.
I think that was good, because if he wouldn't have had anybody, then that would have been even gnarlier, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to have somebody that gets it when things go really bad.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I guess both of you, yeah, like you guys have seen each other at your worst probably at this point. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, yeah, helps in a way if you're able to, get through it.
Yeah, for sure. And you're able to be there for each other. And also, you know, like, okay, if we can get through all that, then
Then like, yeah, who fucking
yeah.
cares? Yeah.
Exactly.
It gives you some confidence, for
Yeah,
sure.
you don't question things, you know.
Mhm.
So that's good. But yeah, I wish we wouldn't have had to go through all that. But also, it does make for better people, unfortunately. And hopefully, like what we went through, you can be that person for somebody else. So
Yeah, totally. I mean,
yeah,
your only option is to turn it into a positive. Like
yeah, you kind of have
that's
to.
that's the only choice. And like,
Yeah,
yeah,
either you give up
yeah.
or you make it into something positive. And yeah, I feel like I haven't maybe helped out a lot of people, but just sharing and like getting uh maybe more awareness to that my particular injury, and
Hmm.
helps maybe people not freak out, or like they know they can. There's been a few people that reach out to me and like, hey, what do I do, you know?
Yeah,
And then
I
at
feel
least you can.
it's like a weird community.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Yeah.
like the brain and I don't yeah, it's like it's a it's a bond because it's like it's really hard if you unless you've gone through it, it's like you can't relate to it at all. And
No,
then
and you can't even explain it. Like, people will ask me about it all the time, and I'm like, I can't explain. And I remember when I was at my worst, my mom, she's got MS, and to me, like back before my head injury, I didn't like. You're like, okay, you have like something that attacks your brain, and it's terrible, but that's like the extent of what you understand. And then, even though her situation is so much worse, you know, she was able to like she got it. Like, I could explain things
yeah,
to her and she would understand it, and then she would know what to tell me, and she would know when I just needed to be sad and when I was sad because I have a brain injury and that alters your brain, you know? Like, just
hmm,
having that person that you can tell when they
yeah,
understand. And same with like you meet some random person, you can very easily tell whether or not they've been through the same similar thing from how they talk to you. You know, it's crazy. You have
hmm.
this bond of
Yeah,
brain dead children.
yeah. So,
But yeah, hopefully that I can help somebody that has to go
mhm.
through it in the future. Just be at least a story that turned out good, you know?
Yeah, totally. I mean, where do you think it seems like it's a bigger part of the conversation, like on the World Cup circuit? Like, I think we may have touched on it a little bit, but like, where do you think it's at as a sport? Do you think there's still progress that needs to be made, or are we kind of moving in the right direction when it comes to head injury stuff?
Yeah, I think for sure it is. And I think maybe the hard thing, like what we just said, like the people that haven't been through it, they don't know. So I
Yeah,
think a few of those, like, I think we're getting a lot better with like concussion. What do we do? But I don't think there's that big of an understanding of like post concussion syndrome still.
hmm,
But luckily, those cases are really rare. But I still think like at least we're moving in the right direction. And now they do, for all the elite teams, they could do like a baseline concussion test in the beginning of the year. And every time somebody would crash,
that's a huge start. Yeah,
yeah, so every time somebody would crash, you could go in And if you're like, okay, I'm not sure, like I did hit my head, but I feel fine, you could go in and do a test and compare it to your baseline, and there would be doctors that would give their opinion on whether or not you're fit to race. And just things like that is so important, I think, in having the awareness of like, even like the pressure and the overall, like, because it used to be like, oh, you hit your head, get back up.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be like not an acceptable thing to say, hey, I think I shouldn't ride the rest of the day, or I need to see how I feel tomorrow, or whatever. And also the understanding of like, okay, let's say somebody had a brain injury and they're coming back and now they're slow. Instead of people just being like, oh, they're slow, they're like, okay, they're healing. Reaction times are slow. Like, just give them some time. And they need to be out there because that's the best way to train your brain to get back. But yeah,
But it's not.
I think people talk about it more, and people share more of what they go through. And having just those baseline things, I think, is super important. And just the awareness of like, okay, you hit your head, you should go get it checked out. And hopefully then when there is really bad cases, they'll catch it, you know, and say you shouldn't go, or, and then there'll be more awareness. And then if there are the bad cases, then hopefully what you learn from that as well will be more maybe public. So then if you find yourself in that situation, you actually know what to do. Because when it happened to me, I was like, I didn't even know that that was something that happened to people, you know? And like, where do I go? What do I do? And luckily I had, well, not luckily, but for my sake, it was luckily that my roommate at the time, she had had a really bad concussion like a couple of months prior and had a bunch of gnarly post-concussion stuff. And as soon as I got back to America, she knew exactly what to do. Yeah. So she sent me to the right people. But without her and her having to go through that before me, like I wouldn't have known. So just maybe more awareness, and even within like the community, and know what to do in those cases and get the people the help as soon as possible is huge. So I think from the, I guess 3-4 years since my head injury, there's been a lot of progress, which is cool. And it seems to only go in a positive direction.
Yeah, totally. I mean, what was the, like, what were the things that you did in your recovery that seemed to really help you? And maybe like, what were the big takeaways just health wise from your recovery?
I think that's honestly kind of hard, because it's so hard to know, like, was it the time? Was it the things I did? Was it, what was it? Because in the beginning I would do everything I could and it wouldn't feel like
nothing
it helped,
happened.
You know? Yeah. But I think maybe in the beginning, like, being aware of that's too much, because pretty much anything was too much and you needed to do something, but don't push yourself to the point where you don't understand what people are saying to you. Like, then you've done too much. And then with the training, when I was good enough to start being able to train, I wanted to so bad, and then I couldn't actually handle those high heart rates. So a bit more patience there would have probably maybe sped things up. But then at the end, because in the spring of 2024, it'd been 2 years, I was like, I'm fine, but I'm not. That situation we talked about. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I feel like it's been so long, I've done everything. And I hired a new neurologist. And he just did kind of simple stuff, but we did a bunch of blood work. And we did this allergy test that basically checks for anything where your body has an inflammatory reaction. So like a bunch of foods that I could probably eat and be fine, but I guess my body didn't enjoy it. So we took out all of that. And it was a lot of stuff. And it was a little difficult. But from that point, with that change, like, I could tell a big difference. And it started like seeing progress again. So that was maybe my biggest, like the simplest thing that made such a big difference. And I tried to do it earlier in the process as well, and I didn't feel like it helped. So maybe you have to get to a certain point or to see the progress from it. But that was huge. And yeah, just like being super, it sounds boring, but being super particular about like how much water I would drink and make sure I wasn't dehydrated all the time, and cut out those few things that I wasn't allergic to and had like an allergic reaction, but the things that my body didn't like was fighting more than other things. Like cut that out. So you take out anything that causes inflammation to then put all your effort into healing, essentially.
Yeah.
And that was easy to do. You just need to redo your diet, I guess, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny. I mean, that's kind of exactly what I thought brought me into like building instead of taking one step forward and like one step back.
Exactly.
Was like the diet. And I think like whatever avenue it is, it's just like getting your body to like a base level of inflammation and health. Yeah. Cause it's just pissed. And like anything that you feed it, that's going to like elevate your inflammatory response. Just like it just cancels out all the progress. So like the diet was huge for me too. And like, one thing that I thought was interesting, I don't know if you can relate to this, but like the thing that brought me from like non-symptomatic to I think like more, like I referred to it as like a sense of presence almost.
That makes sense.
of like feeling like
you're here.
Present in your body in a way, you know, like just not like slightly removed, was like learning, like I learned how to kayak. Like after I kind of shortly after I like got to a point of being non-symptomatic. And I think that like process of learning something new and like getting your mind into a place of like neuroplasticity and focus.
Yeah.
That, and then like through like doing that for months brought me into like feeling more normal again.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
It's like a super complex, I don't know. It's like, it's really interesting to me.
No, for sure. But it's kind of like the thing they kept telling me, right? Like you need to do all this stuff to like almost like teach your brain how to do it again. But then it was hard for me to find the balance of like what was too much.
Yeah.
Because I kept pushing it maybe a little too much and a little too much. And then it becomes negative. But if you don't do anything, that's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah.
So you need to find something that, and it depends on your symptoms, right? Because even I had this cognitive therapist, because for a minute there, I was so bad. I couldn't read. I couldn't answer my phone. I couldn't do anything. So then I had this cognitive therapist, and she literally was teaching me how to like remember things and stuff like that. And with her too, like she was really good at pushing it to the perfect level. But then when I would go home and work on stuff, I would just like not even realize it and then do too much and then literally have to sleep the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of same thing, like finding something you can do that you use your brain and you use your body, but don't overdo it, I think is so healthy. Like even those walks, they're like you need to go for a 10-minute walk.
I know, it's like recalibrating like your expectation. It's like you just came from a place of doing like max heart rate intervals and then it's like now the activity for the day is walking around the block and you need to like cap it
and
there.
It felt like why would I even do that, you know? Like when I was in that point, I was like, this is stupid, like I don't want to go for a walk, and it felt like so dumb. But at that point, like that's what I had to do. And even now, like my neurologist will be like, sometimes I'll be frustrated because I'm working and I feel like I can only do 2 hours and then I'm like still struggling a bit, you know? And he's like, just go for a walk. And I'm like,
no.
But I think, if you're in like a terrible place and everything's feel terrible, like find something like kayaking or something you can do that you go out, you do stuff, heart rate stays low, but you're like learning something or using your brain, or I think that's super important.
I feel like this podcast is just like a brain injury just wrap out, but no, I mean I'm here for it. I think I don't know, it's interesting to me. It's my fucking podcast, so
true, you choose. No, I feel like it's good, and then you can listen to the part of the podcast you want to listen to, right?
Yeah, totally.
Surely the brain injury stuff is very relevant for some people.
Totally. Well, cool. I've got a big sponsor meeting that is coming up at 11 that I need to
Prepare
prep
for it.
for. So
Well, good luck with that.
we'll see if I'm making money next year.
Let's go.
Fun times.
Fun times. It's that time of the year. It's terrible. Hey, here's my resume.
Oh,
Think you could,
it's just like the disparity between like yes and no is just like
oh,
so significant.
yeah.
It's annoying. Like, my
Yeah.
life could look completely different next year based on like a couple phone calls.
Yep. And you do have to put in the effort to do those phone calls.
Oh yeah.
It's the most terrifying thing.
Here, time to sell myself. Let's
Good
go.
luck. I believe in you. You can do it.
Thanks. Well, I wish you the best on all your on your next year's ventures as well. So
Thank you. You as well. Thanks for having me.
yeah, that was super fun.
Yeah.
We should do some some check-ins next year. You know, Dakotah's got his own podcast. We need to get the Frida story.
Right. No, I love it. That's cool. It's good to tell it sometimes. I'm not the best at doing that, so thanks for the opportunity to tell my story.
Yeah, of course. You killed it.
Thanks.
But all right, I'll catch you later. Have a good rest
All
of your
right,
day.
sounds good.
All right, see ya.
Bye.